Nancy from Chief, former cardiologist.
Okay. This one. Good afternoon. It is Thursday, October 27th, 4 p.m. So we'd like to begin our agenda meeting. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Mr. Allen. Sorry. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nice and close. Pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, adequate and electronic notice of this meeting has been provided by posting on the bulletin board in the Beach Haven Municipal Building on the Borough website and mailing the same to the Beach Haven Times, the Asbury Park Press, and the Press of Atlantic City. Mr. Allen.
Here.
Mrs. Ball Miller.
Here.
Dr. Davis.
Here.
Whoa,
Whoa.
that was awesome. Mrs. Rutherford.
Here.
Mayor Lambert.
Here.
Ordinance 2022-27C, an ordinance establishing chapter 194 of the Borough Code of the Borough of Beach Haven concerning the sale of products such as Kraton and Delta 8 and related paraphernalia. The purpose is to regulate the sale of unregulated products. First reading.
Since this is the first reading, there's no public comment. Anybody on the board like to comment on this one?
Well, Sherry sent out just that we did put an addition into the ordinance that was recommended by Mr. Kelly for
Mhm.
Kapplers to have some requirement for insurance purposes if a business was to decide to sell Delta H. And so that would be required with the mercantile license, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, and I also just wanted to speak to this a little bit. I did, as a nurse, obviously, I am interested in this, and, I see children on the daily. And so I did some research, and there are multiple public or pediatric publications that they're seeking regulation of this because it is unregulated. The FDA obviously speaks to it, the CDC speaks to it. So I do think that this is something that we do need to have in our town. So Jamie, thank you for bringing this to our attention, and we move forward with that. I support it.
Thank you. Mr. Allen, anything? No. Yeah. Dr. Davis, anything to say on this?
Yeah. Sorry.
Mhm.
Yeah, I support this.
Yeah, to me, this is a very easy one to get behind. I think I couldn't believe when they told me that this was actually going on. It was an oversight, and thankfully some of our alert citizens and the Board of Education caught it, and I think it's a very good move. Okay. So, having said that, is there a motion to approve 2022-27C?
So moved.
Is there?
Mr. Allen.
Yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller.
Yes.
Dr. Davis. Yes. Mrs. Rutherford.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes.
All matters listed under item consent agenda are considered to be routine by the municipal council and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Any items requiring expenditure are supported by a certification of availability of funds, and any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda and discussed separately. All consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes. Resolution 215 is the certification of the 2021 audit. 216, authorizing the execution of a shared service agreement between the Borough of Beach Haven as lead agency and Surf City, Harvey Cedars, and Barnegat Light for construction code enforcement services. We've renewed for another one-year agreement with them. 217, authorizing affordability assistance in the form of homeowner assistance agreement with the owner of the affordable housing unit located at 510 North Bay, Unit 204. Resolution 218, amending an employment agreement with the Borough of Beach Haven and Sean Potter, construction official. As a result of settling the interlocal for another year, we are then adjusting the salary for the construction official that was left undetermined with the last contract. 219, approving membership to the Beach Haven Volunteer Fire Company and the New Jersey Firemen's Association. 220, authorizing the execution of a shared service agreement with the County of Ocean for participation in the Move Over Law Enforcement Program, the Drug Recognition Expert Call-Out Program. 221 is consenting to the issuance of the 2022 amusement licenses for Mr. Tees. And at the last minute, on my way here, I was handed 222, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, 222 is appointing code enforcement officers. I was handed 222, I'm sorry. 223 is authorizing the cancellation and partial refund of tax appeals as a result of successful tax appeals in court. We've approved the agreements prior, and now Sherry would like to go ahead and issue those cancellations and refunds. So we have a resolution for that, it's number 223. And then she also handed me number 224, that's canceling some water meter reads, some water billing that was in error.
Yes, everybody had a chance to review the resolutions? Any comments, concerns?
No.
Okay, if not, is there a motion to approve the resolutions within the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller?
Yes.
Dr. Davis? Yes. Mrs. Rutherford?
Yes.
Mayor Lambert?
Yes.
I have a bill list this evening in the amount of $631,312.86.
Everybody have a chance to review the bills? Okay, any questions, concerns? All right, is there a motion to approve the bills?
So moved.
Second. Mr. Allen?
Yes.
You guys are
Mrs.
good.
Ball Miller?
Yes.
Dr. Davis? Yes. Mrs. Rutherford?
Yes.
Mayor Lambert?
Yes.
We have two items for general discussion. The first is a proposed ordinance 2022-29C, which will create a no parking area at the corner of Second and Bay, right in front of what is existing now as Lorenzo's. We've met with public safety officials and decided that if we can make a safer area for loading and unloading for local businesses in that area, that it would be a plus to the area. So I'd like to hear your feedback on that proposal.
I'll chime in. I did talk to Sherry about this a little bit because I live on that street, so I'm familiar with the issues. And we do really need a loading area there because sometimes you have two trucks unloading at the same time, and they extend over into the residential area, which isn't really fair to the residences. A lot of commotion. I've always hoped that we could have deliveries really early in the morning and use Bay Avenue, but that apparently the delivery people can't make it. I have reservations. I do think that Lorenzo's does need some pickup spots. It is a total takeout business, so people need to pull a car up close by. So I do think that if we proceed with this and establish that as a no parking area, we're going to have to at least give them one pickup area on Bay Avenue. I don't know, I'd like to hear other people's opinions on that. I don't know, but I just think that if you have people running in to get a pizza and there's nowhere to pull in, it becomes a nightmare. Yeah, I mean, this is a huge problem, and I know it's difficult for the people in the summer. I think there should be some way that we could divide the deliveries between 2nd Street and 3rd Street, because you have some deliveries coming into Buckaloo's on 2nd Street, as well as the Chegg, and then the Chegg is, pretty much as close to 3rd Street as it is to 2nd Street, so there should be some way we could divide it up so it isn't only 2nd Street residents that are having this constant delivery. I just wish we could come up with some better solutions. I think the Chegg is trying to put in more freezers so they can maybe decrease their deliveries by having more stuff delivered at one time. I don't know, but it is a problem. I'd like to hear other perspectives.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, it would be a valuable area to take away. I think it talks would be like 3 spots that would be removed.
Mhm.
Yes.
It would probably help at least 5+ businesses in that area. And for deliveries, maybe even being allowed to have the trucks that sit in the middle of Center Street or move to there too, but you know, have challenges. I don't know what that looks like. Can we do, like, when there's not a delivery truck there, are we able to let people park there for in and out takeout, like use a 15-minute?
I'm gonna have the chief come up and talk about what he's willing to allow in that
Yeah.
area. If you could, Jim.
So over on Second Bay, what we did during COVID, we allowed them to take those parking spots. And during the day, they would pull up in front of those parking spots and they were only for deliveries. And then in the evening, when they're not taking deliveries, we were allowing them to use the parking spots for customers for the pickup. So that'd be another option if you wanted to do a time like till
Mhm.
Okay.
4 p.m. or something, but that's up to you guys. If we wanted to do a, delivery zone from, 8 a.m. or 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then the issue is going to be is if somebody parks there at night, doesn't realize it, you just have to have a few signs. There's only 3 parking spots, so either way, it's not the end of the world. If it's time, like more of a time thing, or if it's just no parking. The other thing we were also doing with that area was we were allowing them to put some bike racks over on that side to get rid of some of the bikes that were being left up on the sidewalks by the customers. So that's another option with that area because a majority of their customers do come by bicycle,
Mhm.
especially later in the evening.
How long do deliveries continue? I mean, I would imagine most of the deliveries would be earlier in the day, but I have no idea.
From what I've seen, most of the deliveries happen, start around 8 in the morning and they'll go till, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But most of them are in the middle of the day. I'd have to actually check with each business there, Station 117 and check with the egg to see. Most people don't get deliveries in the evening. Those delivery people are usually home by then.
I think that would work because if you allowed parking after 4, I mean, most of their business probably is in the evening for dinner. And during the day, if it's a nice day, most people are on the beach, so it's probably not that hard to get a parking spot on Bay Avenue. So I think that would answer a lot of the problems if anybody has any other.
The other thing we've been doing recently, and I think the ordinance says it, is the curbside pickup spots.
Yeah.
You can make those spots curbside pickup spots during this time, because then the rest of the day, nobody's allowed to park there, and we could write something, you guys could write something that said, during these hours, it's delivery, no parking,
No overnight
something like that.
parking.
And then
But in the evening,
In the
it could be
evening,
curbside
4
pickup.
p.m. to 2 a.m. or 4 a.m., whatever you wanted to do, you could say that would be curbside pickups.
I think that would work.
So to Nancy's question about 3rd Street, kind of splitting that up, are there a couple of spots on the southerly side on 3rd
No.
Street?
From
No.
3rd Street,
No.
We tried for 3rd Street. From 3rd Street, some of the delivery vehicles can fit back into the alleyway,
Right.
but using 3rd Street for delivery trucks, it's created a bigger problem. You have a traffic light there,
Yeah.
you have a real estate agency there, you have the barber shop, the cigar shop, you have a bunch of shops that really don't take deliveries,
Okay.
but they're suffering,
From the over.
from that. But
Okay.
it's more congested over there, being that it is a traffic light.
Yeah, I agree.
More vehicles come down that road across the boulevard than they do generally
Second.
on Second Street.
I do remember Mr. LaSalle was saying in the previous meeting that they were taking all the deliveries on 3rd Street, but that's not the case. And
They were trying to, I mean,
Yeah.
it's very difficult, plus it's a lot further for the delivery vehicles to walk to deliver the stuff. And then that means the delivery truck is parked there longer. And
And
most
the
of the
traffic
time,
light
it's,
is an
yeah,
issue. Yeah,
most of the time it's with the delivery truck running because of the refrigeration, which then creates noise. If we can get them in and out quicker, that'd be better. It's gonna, when they park on Second Street now, we allow them to do what they do at Center Street and what they do at Ingleside here, where they park in the middle of the roads to not interfere with traffic, so vehicles can get around on both sides and see. On Second Street, it's such a narrow road, and then when you have the angle parking there, cars can't get by sometimes.
Mhm.
It just creates a problem.
Well, 'cause, you know, people are upset about parking spaces being taken. People are
Right.
upset about parking spaces being taken, so we want to make sure people understand
Mhm.
that,
You're
you know,
dealing-
it's
Hmm.
3 spots, it's going to help improve some of the quality of life for that area moving in and out,
For
so.
us, when we did allow it, it was, we just made it was 3 parking spots versus all the blocking of actual
Right.
traffic trying to get through. I mean,
People pulling.
we didn't have any arguments at that point. You know, nobody was getting angry because they couldn't get around the vehicles.
Okay,
So
Hmm.
it worked out better when we did it.
okay.
Well, on the surface, this sounds very good to me. My only concern is, and I had mentioned this, I would like to hear from the residents because I know they've kind of been in hell with all that's going on up there. And I know there was concern about trucks running and all that. I think this would be farther up. And I think, in my opinion, it would work, especially now that we're looking at splitting the times for parking because, you know, as was mentioned, I don't think it's that critical earlier in the day, but later on with the delivery kicking in, it is. So, I mean, I think it's a good idea. I would just like to hear from the people who live there because they have sent plenty of emails. They've been very vocal, and I know it's been tough on them. That would
A lot
be,
of the neighbors that call us when we respond over there, the complaint is that the delivery vehicles are stacked one after another going up the 200 block,
Mhm.
and it's in front of the residences. If we did it along the curbside, what we did during COVID, we allowed them to park two delivery vehicles side by side.
Mhm.
And they weren't interfering with traffic. They weren't really much
Mhm.
further out than an angle car would be, parked at an angle.
Mhm.
So it didn't interfere with any of that, and they didn't go up anywhere near the residences.
yeah. No, I said, I think it might be a good compromise, good way to get it done. I would just like to, you know, like I said, because we've heard from them so often.
Mhm.
Can we limit when they can go to the road?
You guys.
Yeah.
I thought we had discussed that once. I thought that we had discussed that once, that loading times had to be during a certain part of the morning. That it couldn't be loaded.
Leave it 7 a.m.
Mhm.
Or
or
was
7
that-
a.m. I don't remember off the top of my head. I'd have to look at the ordinance, but
I'm just looking for
You
that.
just can't close that delivery window too tight, they're not gonna be,
Right.
Right,
they're coming from Florida, they're making multiple city stops. They're not gonna make like an early morning delivery, they won't.
I mean, some of the like Cisco and stuff like that, they have the bigger trucks, and they're dropping off at 20 spots coming down the island. So
I've seen them all further.
Yeah.
Mhm.
we've allowed them it's tight space. We try to, you know, there's other businesses in town where we'll allow them to take deliveries on a yellow curb. Because they're not blocking the stop sign, they're not blocking the view of the intersection so that people can see around the corners. It's not necessarily a parking spot, but we try to make it safe.
Yeah, understood. I mean, maybe we should put something, you know, after, because we're talking about pickup spots for that too, because we just have to have before 2 o'clock.
Yeah, the specific one I'm talking about over on Center Street, the spots that we allow them to take their deliveries at is across 2 of those pickup spots. And so that way it doesn't interfere with, before they were taking deliveries on the other side of the building and cars would be pulling up to the intersection, you couldn't see the stop sign. So
Mhm.
it's kind of based on location, every place is different.
Yeah, I understand. That's a extremely busy location.
Mm.
3 restaurants.
Mm.
Retail. So, and one of the restaurants we took bigger. So,
Mhm.
Right. I mean, I definitely think there needs to be some time limits for both things, all things, added into the ordinance, that we can talk about. I agree with you, Colleen, like
Mm.
have people come and voice their opinion on this. This is obviously just a discussion, so
Mhm.
duly noted to the individuals listening. We need to talk about it and share your concerns or send an email to all of us so we know.
Jamie, anything?
No, just what kind of signage are you looking for?
It wouldn't have to be, I mean,
So
there's
you're
only
gonna-
3 parking spots there,
Right,
so
so
you
you're
put
gonna,
3 signs that said,
like loading.
Loading zone,
Loading
no
zones,
parking.
no
between-
parking, loading zone, six
Well,
AM to five PM, are you gonna?
The police department is gonna be the one that's gonna enforce it, so if it's a sign that says no parking
Yeah, what do you
between
want?
such and such loading
Yeah.
zone. No parking between this time and this time loading zone, and then
Pick up-
a sign right below would be
Yeah,
your
whatever you-
temporary pickup sign, or the curbside pickup sign.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Seems like a no-brainer to me.
Do you want to just share guidance? You don't want to do it right this minute on what timeframe you think would be working best for that?
So, first, I would say you have to talk to places like Station 117, check it out,
Okay.
and find out, are you getting deliveries past 4 PM?
Yeah.
If you're not, then that sounds like a good time.
Right.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.
The next one is a proposed ordinance regarding land use board escrow fees. We've been having an issue with the escrows that we collect for land use board applications being depleted almost immediately after they're posted. And then as the application continues, we have to chase the applicant for replenishment, and then we're unable to pay our professionals timely. So we've analyzed the fees, we've reviewed them with our professionals, and we're requesting that we increase the amount of escrow that we collect from applicants to be able to better function here. It's really causing some major issues with our professionals.
Mhm.
Provided some draft
Mhm.
suggestions of the fees. And if you're all in favor, then I'll put it into an ordinance and we can move forward.
Well, yeah, it makes sense because our professional fees go up significantly every year.
Makes total sense.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now we're to the public comment portion. If you would like to speak, please raise your hand, come up, don't forget to identify yourself, and please confine it to 3 minutes. Mr. Hudson?
Thank you very much, Mayor.
Mhm.
A month ago,
Name and address for the record.
oh, I'm sorry. Bill Hudson, Lord's Island Hotel. As I told you a month ago, that we have people calling on motel for housing, and so we appreciate that. And introduced an ordinance for the EOC for $3 million to look at that and maybe do some housing there, so I want to appreciate that. And also wanted to mention to the chief that part of the people calling the chief are recruits that say they have nowhere to stay, they can't find anywhere to stay. And I think that would also help with the recruiting of the summer police officers for the police. So
Mm.
thank you for the, and by the way, 4 of the 5 candidates at candidates night the other night did say they were for the EOC renovation.
Mhm.
So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else in the audience? Kathy?
Kathy King, 326 Third Street. I just wanted to say that we discussed it about the parking on Second and Third Street. That is just a replay of exactly the conversation that went on at the land use board meeting when they asked about expanding and opening that pizza shop on the corner. And it was well investigated at the time. The woman who lives in Catherine Daniels' house commented on it, on how unpleasant it is for her. They talked about the parking behind it. There was absolutely no way that they could handle these trucks, and they sat right there and passed it anyway. So here you are cleaning up what should have really been considered much more seriously at the time it happened.
Thank you. Mr. Wachter?
John Walker, 219 Second Street. And good evening.
Good evening.
I'm really excited that you're addressing the problem on Second Street. It is a real problem and it is a safety concern. We don't like to give up parking spots, but safety has got to come first. And I was trying to listen at home and I could hardly hear it, so here I am. I just ran over. But I did want to add some comments to it. It's too narrow of a street. You can't park in the middle like someone said earlier, you can't get around at all. And the trucks are all the way out to Bay Avenue. So as soon as you turn the corner, if there's pedestrians, kids, whatever it is, it doesn't work. So a few things that I think should be considered. One, deliveries are supposed to come on 3rd Street. There it's off street. Now, some of them may not be able to get in there, or there's more than one truck at a time. That I would think would be the first move, is to start there. But that area is a perfect situation. I saw it function in Cape May. We go to the Virginia a lot, which is right in the heart of the historical area. There is no receiving, there's nothing. So they have designated areas to bring a truck in. One truck is allowed at a time. That's another thing that would be important here, because you get one in there and then somebody else and somebody else. Sometimes there's as many as 3. I've seen 4 trucks out there. So really one pulls up. If there's somebody there, they go around, they make other deliveries, and then they have to come back when that space is vacant. So that would be really helpful as well. And I don't know if it was talked about, you were saying certain hours, is that right, Chief? That, yeah, I think that would make sense too, have your receiving hours set. So that you could use it for parking at a later time. Also, you could get it out of the way during a time when it's maybe not as busy either. One suggestion I would have for the owner also is they should have the ability to receive pallets of product. I know they get a lot of big deliveries and the guys are wheeling them with hand trucks. If you can bring a pallet in, the trucks would be in and out of there a lot quicker. And it would really expedite for them as well. I don't know if they have a door to receive a pallet or not, or even get it in the alleyway back there and then offload it in, put it away. But that would really, a pallet is probably 10 or 15 trips with a hand truck.
Wow.
That would make a big difference.
John, can I ask a question? I mean, since
Sure.
you've been in the business, how much control does the restaurant owner or the retailer have over when things are delivered? Can they negotiate?
My experience, 27 years with Murphy's, you have all the control that you want. You're the customer.
Mhm.
And really, you can say how many, we reduced the number of deliveries we have. We consolidated to a single food service company where the other stores used 3. So, to try to have less deliveries. But usually you have, there may be extraordinary situations, but you can give them, Walmart and other large retailers, they have windows. You have a half an hour window to make that delivery. If you're not there within that window, they turn you away. And if you miss enough, then they go get someone else to give you the business.
So that answers a lot of questions. I mean, we do have some, we could create an ordinance that did restrict some of these hours. I mean, if you might say you can stop deliveries at 3, but the retailer can negotiate with the delivery companies and say, listen, we're gonna find another vendor if you can't deliver before 3 o'clock.
Oh, yeah, we did that. Definitely.
And I like the idea of not stacking the trucks. I think that's, and what happens if one truck, if you use those 3 parking spots that are now for delivery, it wouldn't block any of the residents. So nobody would have a truck sitting in front of their house with the reefer on and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I never take a turn off of 2nd Street in the summer. I always go another way and go to another street to turn. But it's so unfair for the people that live up on that block post. I mean, there's a buffer zone, but it really doesn't amount to much. And I know how annoying it must be.
But besides the 3 spots, he has a significant curb cut there,
Right.
which is equivalent to at least another spot or so. I never measured it, but it looks like you should be able to get even most of the semi trucks in there. For the food service trucks, I think they're probably 30 feet or something.
I know years ago, when I first got on council, we talked about this, and we said that no delivery trucks could be sitting on an area where the residents were, which is Kathy Daniels' property, which is, I saw the abuse constantly. I mean, constantly. I know you did because you were right there. But that there would be trucks sitting in front of these residences, we really need to enforce that to make sure that doesn't happen. It's not
That's
fair.
another important issue,
Yeah.
enforcement. I know I know we're allowed to receive deliveries in Beach Haven at 6 a.m. But I know that Surf City is 7 a.m. The reason I know that is because I went to Wawa to get coffee one morning. It's like 10 minutes to 7 and all the garbage trucks are there.
Huh.
Why are all these trucks, the private haulers?
Mhm.
Why are all these trucks sitting here? So I asked one of the guys, I was like, oh, we can't go until 7, 6:59, it's not okay. So they go and they get their coffee and then they go do their trash run.
Mhm.
So that would be helpful too. I mean, that's the other thing. Would be,
Well, I know your wife was, I mean, she would get up
Oh,
early in the
she-
morning and she,
Yeah.
but, I mean, she needed to get sleep. So, I do think too early is, and that, they're noisy. I mean, I get awakened by the garbage truck. So,
Yeah,
and then I have condos across from me, so then they're almost every day in the summer. So annoying. I think Friday's.
I think it's really a step in the right direction. You're addressing,
Okay.
especially the growth of that business now. And figuring out how that would give them one off street on Third and actually be out of the traffic flow on Second. And I'm sure people will object to losing parking spots, even if it's for a short amount of time, because parking is the big issue in town now. But safety could come first.
Well, I
Yeah.
think we need to put some responsibility on the retail owners to make sure that their deliveries are delivered within a certain time.
Yes.
And I mean, what you said, it sounds like that we can do that.
Mhm.
That there are other people they can negotiate to not buy from these people that can deliver with them.
Yeah, I've had no problem. I've never had to get rid of a vendor. Just once you tell them this is the rules, they're in.
Mhm. Thank you. I mean, I did want to hear from somebody who lived right there. So basically, you feel, I know you're right there.
Done business in town for a long time.
No, but I mean, as a neighbor and a resident, this is a good move. I mean, I thought it was, but I just, like I said, I wanted to hear from people who are living the
We
Nightmare.
measured from the curb at Bay to the start of their curb cut for that driveway is 85 feet.
It's 85 feet. Wow. There's no trucks that are that big coming in. Food service trucks are
And
never
that doesn't
big.
include the driveway.
Mhm.
It's just at the start.
And then you do something else than chase trucks around. We're always over there. Yeah. All good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying as well. Anybody else in the room like to speak to any subject? No? Anybody on Zoom?
Anyone on Zoom wish to be heard for public comment on any topic, you can raise an electronic hand. You can star 6, unmute yourself, state your name for the record. Seeing none,
Seeing none, we'll close the floor to public comment and go to final remarks by council. And Mrs. Rutherford, would you like to kick us off?
So I just wanted to say thank you to the Beach Haven Chamber and the folks that came out to the Fall Fest. It was really fun last weekend. I got to enjoy some time meeting with different people and just enjoying the nice day. So that was great. I want to just remind everyone that the striped bass tournament at the Shell is this weekend, the 29th and the 30th, Saturday and Sunday, both days. Thank you to the Hughes family. The donations that are received this year will go to Save LBI, Waves of Strength, and the Maritime Museum. So that's really great to be supporting 3 different organizations in our community. There's sure to be something for everyone, including apparently a dog parade. That will start off at 1:30, but registration starts at 1. So you have a dog and you want to have them parade around.
And costume.
Oh, and costume. So sorry. Yes, it is Halloween weekend. So make sure you have some candy for the kids that come out come Monday. And yeah, just thankful for October.
Thank you. Dr. Davis?
I don't know that much to say. I think you said it all. I think lucked out with the fall festival on a nice day, because it sure was awful for the next three,
Yes.
right? So, yeah, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mrs. Bowman.
This fall season has been amazing. I feel like I've been busier during the fall weekends than the summer weekends. I feel like every weekend it's just been something to do. For the most part, the weather has held up except for the minor, Chatterfest schedule change. But other than that, the weather has been great. I feel like the businesses are doing very well continuously because of the shoulder season, so I'm grateful for that and everyone that puts their time, and a lot of this is volunteer time to make this successful fall season. We've got another big weekend this weekend, starting tomorrow with the Halloween parade that's for the Beach Haven Elementary School. So Chief and the police will be blocking off Bay Avenue like they normally do. The kids start from Veterans Park and they go down and show off their costumes to the school, and they put on a little dance and ice cream. They have a trunk or treat, so that's always exciting to see. And then the Strike Bass tournament, but of course Friday I'll be watching the Phillies game. The Phillies.
Yeah. Mr. Allen.
Don't have much to add, you guys have hit everything.
Sorry.
What time does the parade start?
5:30.
That's okay. Thank you. I would like to congratulate the candidates who are running for Beach Haven Council position. Last night, the Beach Haven Taxpayers Association ran a very interesting and informative forum. If you missed anything and you would like to catch it, or actually there's going to be another forum, I should say. So if there's anything that wasn't covered or you want more information, that will be right here at Borough Hall on November 3rd from 5 to 7 p.m. It'll also be available on Zoom. I also want to say happy Halloween. Enjoy all the activities you just heard about, and be safe. And don't forget to vote November 8th. Thank you very much. If there's nothing else, is there a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
Second.
Thank you. We adjourn.